Welcome to the 10 essential new characters for Super Smash Bros. These are characters that should be new characters for Super Smash Bros., and just not characters I want to be new characters. These characters are either longtime Nintendo characters, popular characters, characters that offer a lot of uniqueness to the table, recently new characters, or a combination of the four. Without further ado, let's start with number 1. This first character is a 99.9999% certainty that he will be in the next Smash Bros.
Inkling!
It's the Inkling. It's a new IP. The Splatoon game has done insanely well for Nintendo. I feel as if there was really a strong push for Inkling to be DLC in Smash Bros. 4, but knowing Splatoon, it's a game about spreading bank all across the territory. I see a bunch of possibilities for this Ink on a Smash Bros. Stage, but it clearly couldn't be done as a patch-in, and the Inkling would be really bland if he didn't have any ink. This next character is a unanimously favorable character. This character has been around for over 20 years, but hasn't been in a game since the late 2000s. I will just leave it at that, because by now, you should know who I am talking about.
King K. Rool!
King K. Rool is one of Nintendo's greatest villains. That reason alone should be all the reason to put him in Super Smash Bros. Why doesn't Nintendo want to use the character anymore? I mean, he was a Mii costume, so they definitely can use him. You know, after how long it's been since fans have begged to have him in Smash Bros., why can't Sakurai just give it to them? Is he that petty? He likes to boast about the 58 character roster, but how many of those characters are like King K. Rool? A whopping 3. How many wield a sword? A measly 12. You don't have room for Donkey Kong's greatest enemy, but you have room for a sword wielder that turns into a Pokémon? Okay. No matter what Sakurai thinks of this series, Nintendo still regards it as a major series. They still make Donkey Kong games, and they still sell adequately in Japan. I don't understand. Anyways, character number 3 has been a character that was around in the 80s, and appeared again just a few years ago. I was absolutely stunned that this character got snubbed, because it's from a recent Sakurai game. I'm talking about Medusa.
Medusa!
Medusa should be regarded as a high-priority character. Much higher priority than Dark Pit or Palutena. Here Sakurai wants more female characters, and there's this female villain that could have really made a splash but new. The order of priority should be, first main character. Second, major villain. Third, supporting character. Sure, you could also consider Hades, but Medusa has 2 huge advantages over Hades. 1. She's been in the first Kid Icarus game as the main villain, and 2, she's immortal. It doesn't make sense for Hades, or for that matter, Palutena, to shrink down to human size and fight other characters when they don't need to. Sure, Medusa appears as a giant in Kid Icarus Uprising, but that was an enchantment by Hades. Why should Hades and Palutena have to fight when they could command others to fight for them? Number 4 is a retro character. This character has only been in one game, but considering that there are other characters in fighting games that would be just like his, Smash Bros. Should definitely run with it.
Fighter Hayabusa!
Fighter Hayabusa is the main character in the game Pro Wrestling. What do? You wrestle. It doesn't get simpler than that. With characters like Zangief, Hakan, Hagar, Bang, Goro, that specialize in throws and grabs, Smash Bros. Needs such character as well. He could be an agile, combo-friendly fighter that would know how to position opponents in unfavorable situations using throws, drops, and other wrestling maneuvers as special attacks. It surprises me that there isn't a character like this yet, as I figured that Sakurai would be sick and tired of sword-wielding characters by now. Boy, I must be pretty dumb to think that, right?
Paper Mario!
Paper Mario is a character that is well overdue of being in Smash Bros. Even though many fans oppose this inclusion, it does not make sense to exclude him after being a game series of its own. If Toon Link can be its own character, I don't see why Paper Mario can't. He might not be a copy-paste character to Mario, but who gives a damn? He could be a lot different from Mario given all the paper abilities he could do. There is only one other flat 2D character currently on the roster, and a second one definitely would not hurt. Dr. Mario is better off relegated to being one of Mario's costumes. Get rid of the 8 color swaps, replace them with costumes from past games, and you're able to choose your own colors for that character. I was shocked that there wasn't a new Zelda character, yet there were 2 new Mario characters. I feel like Nintendo or somebody higher than Sakurai should step in and review these characters before they are finalized. There are a handful of Zelda characters such as Impa, or Lana, or Tetra, that I would totally consider before I would consider a character like Corrin, or Lucina, or Dark Pit, and yet here Sakurai complains that he wants more females. But anyway, here is the next character.
Linko.
If only she had a different name. I was personally enthralled when I saw her for the first time. I am totally welcome to this new character, as Link is the best candidate to get a female counterpart of all the Nintendo All-Stars. I think Koei did a fantastic job with her appearance and fighting style in Hyrule Warriors Legends. Producer Eiji Onuma said he will consider the character for future games, and that I can definitely agree with. I was disappointed that there was no representation of Hyrule Warriors in Smash Bros. When you had Yoshi's Woolly World, and the next time around won't be any different. The next character is from another recent game.
Elma.
Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X is a big certainty to be another new character. With another new character, this should show that Nintendo is serious with pushing new IPs as established titles. I haven't played the game yet, but I know she can control mechs and fire guns. I don't want just another sword user, I don't want just another gun user, and I don't want another cyborg girl trope that all the Japanese games have now. With every new story arc should have a new character, but Namco Bandai should find a way to make her unique without making her cheap. These last 3 characters are third-party characters. This one in particular is as old as greats like Mario and Pac-Man. Starting off in the mid-80s, his games were addictive multiplayer games that involved strategy, variety, and tons of action. Right now, he is in smartphone hell, but anything is possible.
Bomberman.
Yes, Bomberman. I have never played any Bomberman game, but seeing how it plays out, he would make an interesting projectile character. Not only could he be a character geared around explosives, but that sounds like a lot of fun. There is a lot of potential regarding strategy, throwing bombs, catching items. He would be a lot like the Villager and Bowser Jr. He is currently owned by, of all developers, Konami. Konami will likely never sell the Bomberman IP or even ask to have him in Smash Bros., but he's not a Konami original and he still should be regarded as one of the pioneers of the 80s. These last 2 characters are special cases. Neither of these 2 are Nintendo characters. Neither of these 2 are characters from Japan. That's right. There should be 2 characters on the roster that originate outside of Japan. 1 character from a European developer, and 1 character from an American developer. First I will go with the European character.
Rayman.
Rayman, while not the most iconic of characters, is still a mascot of a developer that is still relatively on good terms with Nintendo, as Rayman Legends is exclusive to the Wii U published by Nintendo. Yes, Rayman's games have flopped in Japan. Only 60,000 copies of Rayman titles have ever sold there, but that's not important when you take into account the 20 million copies that have sold worldwide, in addition to the contributions Ubisoft have made to mold the gaming community in Japan like Assassin's Creed and Just Dance. There are Rayman trophies in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, but there must have been some excuse why they didn't take the step further to make him a character. He technically is in the game, but why wasn't he a character? They call it the celebration of gaming, but decide that 6 Fire Emblem characters are more important than the biggest third-party developer in Europe. This is the last character on this list. Many people would not approve of this character, but over time, after Snake, Cloud, and Bayonetta have all become characters, we know that barriers can be broken.
Scorpion.
One of the first true anti-heroes in the industry, Scorpion is a gaming icon that has fought against the likes of Batman and Superman. His franchise made countless headlines over the years for the right or wrong reasons. While the gruesome fatalities are the selling point of the series, it also popularized the live-action sprites that have influenced numerous games after its time. Mortal Kombat has had an early history with Nintendo and is still a moneymaker to this day. Creator Ed Boon has been a huge supporter of Nintendo, and no other American franchises have stood the test of time like MK. Tomb Raider is currently being developed by Crystal Dynamics, however they are owned by Square Enix, a third party that already agreed to put one of their characters in Smash Bros. His signature moves would certainly mesh well with the plane of Smash Bros. No other American video game character comes close. With that said, these last two characters should be considered in order to satisfy the Western audiences. The officials at Nintendo and Bandai Namco should acknowledge that the world doesn't revolve around Japan, or even samurai for that matter. If not for the consumers in the West, they wouldn't have an audience to market their games to. Besides, how many times are they going to put characters in Smash Bros. To which we have no idea who they are? It's 2016, and Nintendo should treat itself as a global company by now. They say that they want to be the gaming equivalent to Disney, but even Disney reaches out to more regions. So, it's very interesting if this would happen. So these are the 10 essential new characters for Super Smash Bros. Once again, these aren't just all characters I want to have or predict will appear. I'd like to have Crystal, Ray MK3, Toadette, as funny as that sounds, but I know that they all are very unlikely. Shantae and Shovel Knight as well. Thank you for watching this video.